Hello there. In this video, we're going to Hello there. In this video, we're going to start working on our typography for our project. So let's go. Okay, welcome back to the file. So we're in the overview page. Okay, so in this video, we're going to be looking at typography choices and hierarchy. So let's have a look at our mood board. Let's dive into that page and let's just review what other people are doing in their dashboards. So let's zoom into the first one. Okay, so just looking at our first example, we've got the hierarchy of, we've got large headings here on some of the cards, so call outs, and in this case it's to do with like the wallet balance or information about the Bitcoin, so maybe that's your overall totals. So then you have the supporting typography around it, so we've got these signifiers to do with increases or decreases. That text is slightly smaller. The text inside some of these filters up here, the text inside the search, that's slightly different. It's not bold. It looks more like a regular style of font. This is very much like a grayscale, almost a wireframe style. But again, you've still got some kind of hierarchy. We've got our headings. We've got the callouts on the cards. So these are slightly larger fonts. And then the font weight is heavier on some of these stats as well. Going to the navigation, obviously the navigation elements that aren't selected are in more of a regular style, but then when you've got an element selected, the font weight slightly increases, so that's good to consider. Let's have a look at this one. So just going towards the table, you can see the table headings are a lot smaller, not quite as prominent with the color that's being used, but definitely smaller. And then going into the table rows, that sizing is kind of matched as you go along, and they're just using different colors to signify different things. Let's go to a different dashboard. So this example, we've got the headings are on the dashboard. On the cards, you've got a nice hierarchy. Some of the informational elements are slightly smaller, and then certain elements that you want to call out a little bit more, like this $8,500, that wants to be kind of a little bit more bold. So the font weight is definitely heavier there. Let's have a look at some others. So again, looking at the fonts, we've got uses for regular. You've got slightly bolder fonts on some of the cards, so the font weight is a lot heavier. And then there is a mix of sizes, but they haven't gone crazy. There's not loads and loads of different sizes. Looking at this example here, again, not gone crazy on the sizing. It feels balanced, it feels controlled. You know, we've got the headings here, we've got the call outs here on some of the figures, and then there's a slightly smaller font here. So the use of fonts on some of these dashboards, it feels to me like there's not a huge amount of fonts being used here. So I like the idea around constraints with the typography, so not having too many choices, because I think we could probably build a nice dashboard and not have a huge typography scale to work with. So maybe in the first instance we can keep it quite limited, and then in the future, if we needed more fonts, we can always add them in. All right, so let's scroll down. I've created a new page called Typography. Let's click there. Nice empty page. So let's go, as a starting point, let's go into our plugins and widgets, and let's click on Typescales. All right, so the Typescales plugin has loaded. I think we've used this before in one of our previous videos, but I'll just go through it one more time. So we've got the base font size that we want to use up here. We have the different scales that you can use here. You can adjust the line height, how much it scales up, how much it scales down, and do you want to round the values or not. Very, very easy. You generate it, it outputs something to the canvas in Figma. So very straightforward and very easy to use. So what I want to do is, let's just drop this down to a base size of 14, as that can be our base size to work from. Let's have a look at the scale. So let's just have a look. So you can experiment with these different popular scales. I'm probably going to go with the major second. I'll leave the line height as it is for now. We'll scale up by 6, scale down by 2. All right, so as a first draft, let's just click on generate and let's output what it's done. Cool, so that is really, really quick, really, really easy. Okay, so at first glance, I'm probably going to get rid of some of these fonts because I don't think I'm going to use them. Okay, I've just duplicated the frame and I want to start dropping some of the fonts that I'm not going to use. So I don't think I'm going to use 11. I think I'd probably keep 12 as potentially the small, 14 medium, 16 can be large, and that would be like the body fonts. And then maybe going up from there, we're looking at H3 to 1, and then maybe you've got some display fonts at the top. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's keep doing this in stages, and let's keep cutting our palette down. Right, so duplicate the frame, let's drag it out. So I am just going to undo the auto layout just in case I need to move things around a little bit more. Okay, so starting with the font size 12 pixels. It's inter, it's regular, it's 12 pixels. Probably going to control the line height as well, so let's do 16. And again, I'm working in increments of 4. So that's that one. Let's just duplicate this out again. And do you know what? Let's just Shift A on these two, drop them there. Let me just try and organize this a little bit better. So with this font at this size, I'm just thinking, what font weights am I going to really want at 12 pixels? Now I think what I'll do to restrict myself is I'll just do regular, and then I'll do semi-bold. And I'll probably do the same for the other body fonts. So for the 12, the 14 and the 16, maybe I'll restrict it to just have regular and semi-bold. Okay, I'll just go ahead and do that now. So Shift A, let's just duplicate this. Shift Enter to go back up a level. Let's just do that auto layout, 8 pixels. Let's make sure everything is kind of similar to the 12 pixel one. Okay, so we've got 14. We have got regular and it's inter. So as we go up the font sizes, I'm probably going to increase the line height. So we had 16, let's do 20 for the 14. Let me just update that here as well. Okay, and then we'll change that to semi-bold. Cool, that's done. Let's go to 16. So just Shift A on this, organize the vertical auto layout. Let's just go in, let's duplicate this. Make sure that looks the same as below. Okay, so for 16, let's go up another level to 24. Maybe not 24%, but 24. There we go. Do the same again here. No, let's just drop the percentage. There we go. And let's change that second one to semi-bold. Okay, good. So that could be our body sizes, and we've got 2 different font weights to play with. Okay, moving up the scale, 18 just doesn't feel enough of a jump to the heading, so I'm actually just going to delete that. We'll start at 20. Let's click in here. So we're going to do inter, we're not going to do regular, we'll do bold because that's going to be a heading. Let's see, so it's size 20. Let's do 28 as the line height. Yeah, so we use 24 on the 16. Let's do a 28 line height, and let's say this is, let's make it clear what it is. So that's going to be a H3. Okay, so that's our H3. That's 20 and 28. I think what I'm actually going to do is delete some of these now because it's not going to go up in the increments that I want. So let me just Option, click, drag. I've deleted the old ones. So we want a H2. And what size do we want our H2 to be? It's probably going to be 24. Okay, so H2, so 24. Let's go across and we'll make the line height 32. Okay, let's just bring that up. Let's do our H1. So what is H1 going to be? So H1 can be 32. And now we're clicked on the text. Let's make that 32. Let's push Shift. Let's make that line height 40. That's gone up. We are a bit cramped. Let's make that a bit bigger. Okay, and last of all, let's just have a look at some display fonts. Just for those bigger callouts, or maybe we need some text to really visually stand out on the dashboard. So let's just have a couple of display fonts as well, just in case. So let's do display. Let's make this one 40. Let's go in here. So 40, line height 48. Just move those down ever so slightly. Okay, and the last one, what we're going to make this one, the last one can be 48, and yeah, let's adjust that. So 48 and 56 can be the line height. And let's just stretch out this frame again so we don't run out of room. Just going to delete out some of these things that we don't need. And the reason why is because we've kind of broken free of the scale that we started with at the beginning. And we're just trying to refine the font that we're going to use for this project. Okay, let's recap. So for the 12 pixels, we've got a line height of 16. For the 14, we've got a line height of 20. For the 16, we've got a line height of 24. And then we go into the headings. So the H3 is 20 and 28. H2 is 24 and 32. H1 is 32 and 40. And then we go into the displays, which is 40 and 48. And 48 and 56. So I think that's a good start. Like I said earlier, if we need more fonts, we can add them. I just want to try and add some constraints at the beginning so we're not overusing and creating loads and loads of fonts that we just don't use. All right, so the next step, let's look at adding these, and I'm going to do this in a two-part approach. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add each of these fonts as styles to begin with, and it'll become clear why in a moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on, say, the first one. This is Inter, this is semi-bold, it's 12 and it's got a line height of 16. I'm going to click on Apply Styles, I'm going to click on the plus, and let's just add some structure to this. So this is going to be body, it's going to be small, and it's going to be semi, and it's going to be bold. Okay, so the structure I'll go for initially is body, small, semi-bold. So I'll try and replicate that for these different body styles, and then I'll add ones for the headings and the displays. And then what I'll do is I'll show you what our side panel will look like. So if I create the style here, if I click off onto the canvas, you'll see our text styles. We've got body, small, semi-bold. So just give me 2 minutes. I'm going to create these text styles, and then we can take it to the next stage. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, welcome back. So as you can see in the styles panel under text styles, we've got our body fonts, so small, medium and large. Then going down, we've got our headings, H1, 2 and 3. And then the displays, we've got 40 and 48. So I've probably mentioned this before in the color video, but Figma over the years has then moved away from styles into variables, which is this variables panel here. We've got all our color styles inside the variables. Let's do the same with our text. So let me close that down. Let's go to plugins, and let's go to plugins and widgets. And the plugin I'm going to use is set up text variables instantly. So I'm going to click on that, loads the plugin, and it's convert text styles to variables. So I want it to read my styles. So it's found 11 available. I'm going to click on the drop down. You can do some mapping, but I'm just going to create variables from my text styles. So I'm going to click that. It's saying they've been successfully created. So I'm going to close that down. Let's go into variables. Okay, so we've got a new collection here, typography variables, and if I just run through each one, we've got the font family, the font weights, we've got font size, we've got line height, and then letter spacing, paragraph spacing, and paragraph indent are kind of empty values, so whether we use these or not, I don't know. I'll leave them in there for the moment. On the line height side, I might just rename some of these. Instead of the different names that they've given, I just use the number value as the name. And that's relatively quick to update. Okay, just looking at font size. Yeah, probably going to do the same. Just replace them with the value. Okay, there we go. That's nice and up to date. Font weight, that should be fine. I'm just going to move that above that one. So we've got regular, semi-bold, bold. Okay, and everything is in a nice typography variables collection. I'll just rename that just to typography. There we go. That's up to date. Okay, let's close down that panel, and yeah, next what I will do is let's just click here and let's just delete out these local styles because I don't need them anymore. So delete those, and delete those. Okay, let's duplicate a frame here, and for the final step what I'm going to do is I'm just going to update this frame so it's using all the variable styles that we've created. So I'll do that now, and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, welcome back. So I've tidied up the page a little bit. I have made this kind of similar to what we did with the color. So tidied up the frame, added all the different colors and all the different variables to the fonts here displayed within the frame. So I think for now we're all done. Like I said, if we need any more fonts, we can always add them in. But let's start off with this limited set and go from there. Okay, what I'm going to do to begin with is let me just drag these frames down. Let me just go to Shift S and just wrap it all in a section. Just put that as typography. I'm going to right click on that and I'm going to send it to, there we go, playground. So that's moved and tidied up. Let's just collapse that and lock that layer. So we're done now on the typography. Let's go back up to the overview. Okay, so in the next video, we'll look at supporting brand elements. So things like logos or word marks for the brand and any icons that we might need. Let's look at those in the next video. Okay, that's it for this video. Thanks for getting to the end. So like, subscribe, all the things, and I will see you next week in another video. See ya. Still here. Hold the line a second. Okay, that's not great. Okay, I can see again. What has changed? What has changed in the office? Well, a popular topic, I know. 2 of these have appeared. Check out that. Definitely staying hydrated. So that's good. For years, we've had this game called Connect 4. And for years, we've been missing a yellow, coin. And I just found it in the box in my study. So not being able to win yellow for years, finally, we can play the game properly. I get that we have to chuck things out because this is not useful to anyone. Or this. Anyway, back to reality. So if you haven't checked out the website already, designwithmitch.com, it's been updated. So we've got resources, courses, not horses, but there's plenty of things on there to check out. So go ahead, have a look. What I'll try and do is include the design files for some of the courses on the website as well. And if you can, just drop a review on there. That'll really help me out. Anyway, that's it for today. So have a great rest of the day. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.
I got you moving. 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 I got you moving.